45 minutes remained before I walked down the aisle for eternity with Charlie. In the hotel bathroom mirror, my smudged lipstick and racing heart mirrored back at me. A man's coat hung over the tub, not belonging to my groom. Earlier, my ex Ricardo had left this room, uninvited, unapologetic, his words still scorching my skin. I yearned for closure, Gina, perhaps you did too. I remained silent, trembling, half-dressed, overwhelmed with embarrassment and devastation, for I had allowed him access. I provided closure, more than that. And soon, I was to promise my soul to another man. A lie woven through each step on the aisle. Yet it wasn't even the most painful part. The worst was the uncertainty of whether I truly regretted my decision. First off, I'd like to express my gratitude to all those who have chosen to subscribe to this channel. Your support is invaluable to me. For the newcomers or those watching without subscribing yet, a warm welcome. I value your presence immensely, and hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button. It's what keeps this space thriving, and allows me to share stories like this one. Don't forget to like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read each one personally. Now let me tell you how I ended up here. My name is Gina, I'm 28 years old, born and bred in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I work as a nurse, and my belief was that once you walk away from someone who hurt you, you never look back. That conviction held firm until Ricardo appeared on the morning of my wedding. Ricardo is 40, charismatic, intense, a man who commands attention even when he shouldn't be there. He was the one who broke my heart for the first time. We crossed paths when I was 22 and he was a seasoned, charismatic, potentially perilous individual. Our bond was complex, marked by obsession, excessive yet insufficient. He terminated it 3 years ago, vanishing without a proper farewell. It took me several months to piece myself back together following his departure. Then I encountered Charlie. Charlie was compassionate where Ricardo was callous. He was soothing where Ricardo was forceful. Charlie made me feel secure, an aspect I hadn't truly appreciated until its absence. After 2 years, we were planning to marry, and today was supposed to be the pinnacle of my joy. The bridal suite was filled with makeup artists, hair accessories, laughter, and champagne when the hotel phone rang. One of the planners handed it to me and said, "He claims he's an old acquaintance, that it's urgent." When I picked up the receiver, I instinctively knew. His voice was hushed, measured. "Gino, I'm downstairs. Please, I need just 5 minutes. That's all. Only 5. I ought to have refused. I should have instructed him to depart. Instead, I informed my maid of honor I required a moment's respite before the ceremony and requested solitude for a few minutes. I encountered Ricardo in the private lounge on the 12th floor. It was tranquil. He seemed older, subtly gentler. Yet his gaze remained unchanged. He expressed the desire for closure. He claimed he had never ceased contemplating me. He admitted regret for how he departed. And at that instant, the girl I once was, the shattered, naive one, resurfaced from the depths. I scolded him for his audacity to appear here. I asserted I was marrying a commendable man. I declared I no longer desired feelings for him. However, I was deceiving both him and myself. Somewhere amidst his apology and my silence, I allowed him to approach, and I permitted myself to be drawn back into something I believed I had interred. I am not proud of it. I despise that I did not protest or eject him. Yet I did not. And when he eventually vacated the room, he overlooked his coat. I now gaze at it, sprawled lifeless across the tub, as if it sensed my embarrassment. 45 minutes left before a wedding. Uncertain about my identity, I donned my elaborate wedding dress, adorned with golden lace and pearls concealing bruised guilt. The makeup artist complimented me, saying I resembled a woman in love. Struggling to swallow, I realized Ricardo's coat was no longer there. I had discarded it angrily in the closet. Yet, the weight of betrayal, my choice, and a forgotten future loomed heavily upon me. Charlie, the thoughtful man who left notes in my lunch bag, fixed my mother's porch without asking, and never shouted. Even when love was absent, stood below waiting. At the altar, he awaited me, while I approached him with trembling legs and a doubtful smile. As the music played and the doors swung open, my bridesmaids moved ahead. Alone at the top of the staircase, each step felt like a deception. Yet I proceeded along the aisle, towards the man I had pledged myself to. His eyes filled with tears upon sight of me. His hands trembled as he took mine. As for me, I could barely maintain eye contact beyond 3 seconds. When the pastor inquired, "Do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?" I affirmed. In my mind, however, I denied, "Not like this." Each foul word stuck in my throat. I echoed the pastor's words as if rehearsing a script. I pledged faithfulness, honor, and cherishing. Each promise pressed harder against the lie lurking within me. Nonetheless, I said yes. Applause rang out. Tears fell. A camera flashed. I kissed Charlie. Onlookers believed my hands were shaking with joy. Shame took hold as the celebration started. Toasts, merriment, love ballads echoed. I danced, laughed, embraced relatives who praised our union. Yet nothing felt harmonious. Suddenly it occurred. A moment of unease while sharing laughter with my cousin. I glanced towards the room's rear. There stood Ricardo, uninvited, in a black coat by the exit, scrutinizing me. His gaze locked onto mine as if we shared an invisible secret. In that instant, my heart acted strangely, fluttering. For how long he remained, I couldn't tell. Upon another glance, he had vanished. Charlie enclosed me in a hug and kissed my head summit. He murmured, "This is the best day of my life." I was on the verge of crumbling, but held it together. The reality was, I had deceived him before our first greeting. We journeyed to Asheville for our honeymoon. A serene landscape adorned with mountains and a secluded cabin designed for romance. Inside, though, I felt empty. Charlie embodied perfection, thoughtfulness, patience, and affection. He filled warm baths, prepared breakfasts, and even presented a photo book of our cherished moments. I smiled, said all the appropriate words. However, beneath the surface, I felt like a phantom wrapped in deceit. The initial night, I feigned early sleep. The second, I claimed a headache. On the third night, Charlie inquired, "Are you content?" I affirmed, but I avoided eye contact when I responded. We returned to Kentucky and attempted to acclimate to married life. Charlie resumed teaching. I returned to the hospital. People continued addressing me as Mrs. Jefferson. Each time I heard it, I felt like I was wearing another person's identity. 2 weeks elapsed, then the messages started again. Just one, from Ricardo. I keep recalling that morning. "You were sincere, I know you were." I fixated on the screen for so long the words seemed to burn. I erased the message. But the harm had already been done. My heart began to itch where guilt once resided. Now it pulsed. For messages followed, but I never replied. I never blocked him, and he hadn't blocked me either. One afternoon, Charlie asked for assistance in moving photos from my phone to our shared drive. I forgot about it. The gallery was left open. I went to shower, and upon returning he was standing there, holding his phone with a picture of Ricardo's coat, dated on the morning of our wedding. He didn't shout or accuse, but instead he looked at me like someone who had discovered something they didn't know was already lost. Had something happened that morning, he asked? I said nothing in response. My silence spoke volumes. That evening, Charlie left our house, staying with his brother and later his mother. He returned once to gather more clothes, appearing weary and shattered, as if reliving every moment to find where he might have missed the signs. He begged, I cried, and I confessed, revealing what little truth I could muster the courage to admit. However, the truth did not mend anything. It only made the loss more tangible. Now months have passed and I live alone. Ricardo is gone from my life forever. By my decision. However, the harm is irreversible. People continue to inquire about my marital issues. I explain it was premature. That's a falsehood too. The truth is, I was self-centered. I was feeble. I believed closure meant revisiting the pain one last time. But it cost me everything that lay ahead. You may not realize this, but sometimes closure isn't a discussion. Sometimes it's quiet. A door you never reopen. I chose to open mine. I walked through it, heading into a future I no longer merit. Thank you for listening to my tale. If you've read this far, I truly value your time. Please share your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done if you were Charlie, or even me? Don't forget to like this post, share it with someone who might identify, and subscribe to the channel for more authentic stories similar to this. Your support means everything. Until next time, remain true to yourself.